Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello everyone, it's Zainab. Welcome back to my daily reading of Hussein's Revolution, Its Causes and Implications by Ayatollah Muhammad Mahdi Shamsuddin. So I am halfway through, we're almost halfway through the book. And I wanted to read this book from start to finish, inshallah, for you during the month of Muharram. And it looks like we're going to be able to get through it before the end of the month, mashallah. So I'm going to continue from where I left off yesterday, which was from page 124. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, all praise belongs to Him, and peace and blessings to Prophet Muhammad and his pure family. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the stance of Imams Hussain and Hussain alayhim salam. Whenever the rulers of the Muslim nation attempted to distort Islam and change its outlook and direction, Imam Ali and his sons alayhim salam were always there to combat these attempts, correct any distortion, and disclaim all fabrication. This was Imam Ali's task for his entire life. He was assassinated for his work. His son, Imam Hussain salam, took up the task after his father. He began to prepare the nation socially and psychologically for a revolution against Umayyad rule. He continued this work until he, too, was assassinated. Imam Hussain lived through this change in a Muslim society. He knew of the enemies of Islam who tried to distort it. They were hypocritical and spiteful. They sought only their own pleasure and gratification, but they could not achieve their ambitions without eroding the principles of Islam. There is a story about a man who wanted to rise up and revolt against the oppressive Umayyad rule, and his name was Malik ibn Hubayra al-Sakuni. He was on the verge of leading a revolution against Umayyad rule. However, Muawiyah gifted him 100,000 dirham, and then all talk of revolution was, of course, silent. He was paid off. He was paid to be quiet. He was paid to settle down. So that's what he did. Imam Hussain alayhi salam also lived through these major changes in Islam society. He faced them at a time when his father was at the forefront, supported by Imam Hussain and the most loyal of the companions, the Shia, as the Prophet himself, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, would call them, the Shia of Imam Ali, which means the followers of Imam Ali, those who supported Imam Ali, alayhi salam, because they listened to the Prophet and they followed the Sunnah of the Prophet. They were the real Sunnis because they followed the real Sunnah of the Prophet, peace be upon him and his family, when of course he announced the divine appointment of Imam Ali alayhi salam as his successor at Khum al-Ghadir. And these companions included the companions of the Prophet, some very close companions of the Prophet, like Abu Dar, Ammar, someone, I forget his last name. There were four main ones that were the closest companions of the Prophet, peace be upon him and his family, who listened to the Prophet and held to their covenant with him and their allegiance to Imam Ali alayhi salam. Imam Hussain alayhi salam faced these changes in Islamic society when his brother Imam Hussain took on the role of his father, supported by the few companions that survived Umayyad's swords. Now he stood alone in this battle, the Battle of Karbala, or just the battle of trying to keep Islam in its most purest state, without adulteration, without corruption, just trying to preserve the integrity of the religion. That was the battle. That was the main battle that all of the Imams had to deal with, trying to preserve and protect the religion of Islam from those who were out to corrupt it for power. Which is why, I don't know why people don't put two and two together. Like, how can you not piece all the pieces together to see the bigger picture? Like, why do you think all the Imams were martyred? Every single one of them, except the last one who is in occultation right now, for fear of his life, of course. Like, taqiyya, protection. He's protecting himself and his family. Imam Hussain alayhi salam stood alone against Muawiyah and his state of terror. Muawiyah was a terrorist, and so was Yazid. He saw the Muslim nation being diverted away from its goals. He saw the fictitiousness of life in the Umayyad Empire. He saw how life became solely about earning enough as to not starve. He saw Muslims selling their lives, freedom, conscience, and honor for a handful of silver coins. He saw the policies that Muawiyah and his close confidants created in order to drive the nation to this grim fate. He saw how people were subjugated, starved, oppressed, and humiliated, all because they opposed Umayyad policies. He saw how Islam was distorted away from its noble path. He saw how lies and fabrications about religion were used to numb Muslims' senses. He untiringly observed as tribal and racist tendencies were revived and encouraged. The Umayyad clan wanted Imam Hussain to submit to their rule so that they could exterminate the last flicker of opposition to their oppressive rule. Muawiyah attempted this when he sought Imam Hussein's allegiance to his son Yazid as rightful heir. In his attempts, he tried both threats and leniency. Neither worked.
I counted 1,900 arrows, 12 spears, 5 axes, and 3 swords in the body of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Hamid bin Muslim.